I feel like standardized testing shouldn't be a way to evaluate how well teachers teach and how smart students are.
My name is Ayana Cole. I'm a student at Academy of Palumbo. I'm a sophomore, and I feel that we shouldn't have to take standardized tests.
Hey, I'm a sophomore at the Academy of Palumbo who just had to retake the algebra keystones.
I don't support keystones.
It's not fair because people who make the test, they don't really know what we're learning. So they can't put together information that is supposed to test our abilities.
In the next coming years, neighborhood schools in Pennsylvania will only have 3 to 5% of their students graduate due to the biology keystones. In 2004, George Bush introduced the No Child Left Behind Act. This will force consequences on schools who weren't performing as well on standardized tests and gave money and resources to schools that were. The first tests that could be compared to standardized tests were created by Horace Mann in the 1800s. He developed this test to make judgments on how students were doing in their current grade level and determine if they should move to the next level. This is similar to what is going on in schools across the country today.
Standardized tests have become increasingly more common after the No Child Left Behind Act. During recent years, the issue of standardized tests have come to light. Teachers, students, and parents are seeing the issue with these tests and are trying to make a difference. Students are starting to think of school as a burden because they aren't learning much.
I was pretty nervous because I was afraid that I was gonna get a basic or a below basic on Keystone and that was gonna stop me from graduating.
I was nervous because the keystones are a very big deal because in order to graduate, you have to pass them.
I felt really nervous taking it.
Teachers are forced to teach to the test. Class time is spent focusing on keystones rather than learning the course material. Valuable time is spent teaching test-taking techniques instead of focusing on core material that is necessary for students to learn. All learning is centered on the preparation for standardized testing, which is only beneficial when it comes to graduating, but not after high school. Students are missing out on the important fundamentals of learning as a result of standardized testing. Principals are under stress trying to keep up their test scores.
I felt terrible. I felt like for each module I crashed halfway before I was able to pick myself back up and try to finish it.
I was relieved that they were over because there was just so much stress on everybody to just pass them.
I was kind of relieved that it was over because I felt I did okay. Like I felt like I was gonna get advanced or proficient.
The New York Times reported in its lead story on September 3, 2000, a number of growing schools are rudderless, struggling to replace the grading course of principals at a time when the pressure to raise test scores and other new demands have made an already difficult job an increasingly thankless one. One of the biggest issues with standardized tests is the negative effect they have on minority city students more than suburban students. Students who do not natively speak English can take days to complete the tests that are designed to only be about 90 minutes. They do not get the option to take the test written in their language they speak, and opting out of the test will still affect them negatively.
I feel that standardized tests don't measure an individual's intelligence because I feel like what measures your intelligence is the grades that you receive in school and the work you do and what you're skilled in. And I feel that the keystones aren't fair to some people who have certain disabilities where they can't perform as well as others. And some students aren't good test takers and they can't really, they freak out when they get a test in front of them. So that can also hinder their performance as well. And I feel that having to pass the keystones to graduate also isn't fair because other students, they get to have the leeway to graduate and some students will get left behind and don't get to have the future they always wanted because they didn't pass the keystones.
Pennsylvania class of 2017 students are the first class to be affected by the graduation rule. It states that students in Pennsylvania cannot graduate if they do not pass all algebra, biology, and literature keystones. Their only option is a PBA, project-based assessment. Students take online courses for the test they failed until they pass. This seems like an efficient option. However, the only students that could benefit from this are suburban, private, and Catholic schools.
The Philadelphia School District has suffered major budget cuts these past years. Even at my school, a school that could be considered well off compared to other schools in the city. This is not an option for us. We simply do not have the money or resources to sit in an entire graduating class in a computer lab. This PBA would take up students' elective course. They would be stripped from their only opportunity at independence and creativity. Keystones are also deemed useless by many.
Only people that would benefit from the tests are the companies that make them and make money off of them. Students don't know what they got wrong, teachers don't know what their students got wrong, and what they need to spend more time or improve on. And it doesn't give parents an accurate representation of their children's abilities. Some students are smart and can retain information but are simply bad test takers, and their learning skills and abilities shouldn't be based off of the Keystone test scores.
The Keystones are not beneficial to us students. Getting rid of these tests takes a lot of money, manpower, and time. We need a change now. We, the students affected by these tests, believe passing them should not be a graduation requirement. We are not these tests, and we refuse to be labeled as just another student number. We have names, and our names will be heard. We will no longer be silent.